Welcome back to the Strange History Podcast. I'm your host, Amy, and tonight we're wrapping our cross-country tour of America's weirdest laws that are still, at least technically, on the books. In part 1, we met bouncing pickles and law-abiding elephants. In part 2, we'll find outlaw camels, suspicious butter, Bigfoot with legal protections, and a firm reminder not to lasso fish. Some of these rules are local oddities. Some were passed for very specific historical reasons. All of them prove that the United States is not just the land of the free, it's the land of extremely specific municipal concerns. Let's finish the map.
Montana. A sheep needs a chaperone in the cab.
Montana ranch country once had a problem. Cowboys hauling sheep up front in their trucks and making everyone else uncomfortable. So the rule emerged. If a sheep rides in the cab, it needs a human chaperone besides the driver. The point was less scandal and more safety. Livestock in your lap is not a great airbag strategy, and perhaps a wink at frontier propriety. Today, most folks stick sheep in the back where they belong, and a spare ranch hand rides shotgun instead.
Nebraska. The donut without a hole.
A small-town Nebraska taboo long discouraged selling wasteful ring donuts with holes. Make the whole pastry edible or fill the center. Bakers got creative. Jelly-filled, cream-filled, anything-filled. And customers never looked back. What began as a thrifty stance against tossing dough cutouts helped popularize the very pastries people now crave. Nebraska, where fiscal conservatism accidentally invented the best part of breakfast.
Nevada. No camels on highways.
In the 19th century, the U.S. Army tested camels in the Desert West. When that experiment ended, a few animals lingered and became hazards on dusty wagon roads that later became highways. Nevada's solution was simple: no camels on the thoroughfares. It reads like a joke until you imagine cresting a hill outside Reno and meeting a one-hump traffic cone. These days, the law mostly survives as desert folklore and an excellent bar trivia answer.
New Hampshire. No picnics in cemeteries.
Victorian mourners once dined among headstones to feel close to their departed. Over time, the sandwiches got rowdier than the sentiment, and New Hampshire towns put their foot down. The modern expectation is quiet respect, flowers, reflection, maybe a note, with the potato salad saved for the park. It's a law about place and purpose, preserving cemeteries as spaces of memory rather than weekend potlucks.
New Jersey. Murder while wearing a bulletproof vest.
Wearing body armor during a felony, especially a violent one, signals preparation for violence and a willingness to escalate. That's why New Jersey stacks penalties if you commit certain crimes while armored. It's not the vest itself, it's the combination. The statute is a practical message to would-be tough guys. If you're planning on getting shot at, the court plans on adding years.
Have you ever been ticketed for selling socks on a Sunday? For hosting a bingo night that ran 5 hours and 7 minutes? Or for parking your elephant without feeding the meter? You need Blue Law insurance, the only coverage that treats bizarre local ordinances like hail damage. Our starter plan includes a laminated list of states where butter must be butter, a polite script for cemetery picnic dispersal, and a punch card for Maine dance permits. Upgrade to premium and we'll pre-file your Utah No Siege Engines Downtown Compliance letter, just in case your nephew builds a trebuchet.
New Mexico. Horse tripping is illegal.
Rodeo traditions sometimes strayed into cruel spectacle, and one of the worst, roping a horse's legs to make it fall, was outlawed in New Mexico. The ban aligns with broader animal welfare reforms that swept through Western states. You can still ride, rope, and ranch to your heart's content, but if your entertainment starts with yanking legs out from under a horse, expect to see a judge instead of a trophy.
New York. No flirting in public. Schenectady's old moral codes.
Turn-of-the-century Schenectady tried to legislate flirtation out of street life, ticketing lewd winks, theatrical sighs, and amorous comments. It was part of a wider morality push that also targeted spitting and loitering. While enforcement faded with time and changing norms, the ghost of that prudish impulse lingers in local lore. New Yorkers will still flirt, of course. They'll just do it with better jokes and less paperwork.
North Dakota, beer and pretzels. Don't mix, on paper.
An old North Dakota rule discouraged taverns from serving salty snacks with beer, the worry being that pretzels would goad patrons into ordering round after round. Public health by way of dry pretzels. Today, it's rarely enforced and widely ribbed, but it survives as a reminder that alcohol policy is nothing if not creative. Bars, naturally, prefer the modern interpretation. Pretzels are community service.
Ohio, no drunk fishing.
Ohio wardens take the safety in outdoor recreation seriously. If you're noticeably under the influence with a rod in hand, you're a danger to yourself and everyone in the boat. Imagine the reports. Tangled lines, accidental hooks and hats, one very confused trout. Anglers can toast the day's catch after they dock, not while they wobble at the gunnel.
Oklahoma, bear wrestling is banned.
Mid-century roadside bars once advertised bouts with declawed, muzzled bears. It was grim for the animals and occasionally disastrous for the patrons. Oklahoma closed the ring for good and made it illegal to own or stage a bear for fighting. If your establishment needs an animal to lose so you can win a crowd, the problem isn't the bear, it's your booking.
Oregon, no whistling underwater.
Some municipal codes are time capsule jokes that never got deleted. Oregon's classic is the underwater whistle rule, a line that reads like it escaped from a vaudeville routine. Consider it civic poetry, a gentle reminder that not everything in the codebook needs a courtroom. Some of it just needs a chuckle and a snorkel.
Pennsylvania, don't tie $1 to a string and yank it.
The sidewalk gag of $1 on a string was funny to pranksters and humiliating to passersby. Pennsylvania nuisance rules made the trick actionable, especially when it clogged up busy streets. The spirit of the law is simple. Laugh with people, not at them, particularly when traffic is involved and tempers are short.
Rhode Island, margarine pats were a no-no.
During the butter versus margarine wars, Rhode Island cracked down on restaurants serving margarine in butter-style pats without clear labeling. The idea was consumer honesty and a nudge to support local dairy. Diners of the era found themselves sawing at suspiciously pale rectangles and wondering if the state would appear with a clipboard.
South Carolina, Sunday sales and work limits.
Blue laws once shaped Sundays so thoroughly that what you could buy or even do changed for a day. South Carolina's patchwork of restrictions, softened over the years, still teaches a cultural lesson. Not every day is for commerce. If your errand list includes socks, power tools, and a spontaneous yard sale, the timing, not the items, might be the issue.
South Dakota, no sleeping in cheese factories.
Food safety and common sense meet in South Dakota's quirky prohibition on dozing where dairy is being made. The rule speaks to a time when night shifts were long, ventilation was optimistic, and a quick nap could turn into a sanitation nightmare. Cheese should be aged, not the employees on the clock.
Tennessee, no lassoing fish.
Tennessee protects its waters from improvised rodeo tactics. A rope around a trout is neither sporting nor safe. The state's message is clear. Use a rod, a reel, and a license, and tell your tall tales afterward. If your fishing story starts with, "So I roped this catfish," it should end with, "Then I paid a fine."
Texas, don't sell your eyes.
Texas bans trafficking in human organs, and the eyes are on that list for obvious reasons. This is one of those laws that needs no grand explanation. It's the solid legal wall between modern medicine and macabre markets. Donate through proper channels, save lives, and keep the jars out of the classifieds.
Utah, no catapults on Main Street.
Young tinkerers once turned downtowns into impromptu physics labs, launching fruit, rocks, and whatever fit the sling. Utah cities finally wrote the world's least medieval sentence: "Don't fire siege engines in town." Rural pumpkin chunkin' on a farm? Sure. Pumpkin chunkin' at a storefront? Please don't.
Vermont, permission for dentures. The relic.
Vermont's most infamous historical rule said a woman needed her husband's written consent to obtain dentures, a perfect snapshot of another era's paternalism. The notion that dental choices required male approval would be laughable if it weren't so revealing. Today, it's cited as a kind of cautionary tale. Laws reflect values, and some values need to be retired with extreme prejudice.
Virginia, Sunday hunting, with a raccoon exception.
For years, Virginia banned most Sunday hunting, but carved out a quirky pass for raccoon hunters after midnight. The compromise balanced Sabbath traditions with a nocturnal pastime dear to rural clubs. As rules modernized, the raccoon exemption became a badge of cultural identity and a great way to confuse out-of-state guests.
Washington, do not harass Bigfoot in Skamania County.
Skamania County took its local legend seriously enough to legislate. Messing with Bigfoot, up to and including trying to harm what might be a very large, very hairy neighbor, could earn you fines or worse. Whether you believe or not, the ordinance is a charming piece of community storytelling, backed by the force of law. Treat mysteries kindly.
West Virginia, the underwater whistle, redux.
Local code humor strikes again. A wry prohibition on whistling underwater that reads like it was written during a slow council meeting. It persists because it harms no one and delights everyone, including the occasional reporter who tries to break it by blowing bubbles in a fountain. Consider it the state's official endorsement of practical impossibility.
Wisconsin, butter means butter.
Wisconsin's Dairy Pride produced laws that long required restaurants to serve real butter unless a customer specifically asked for a substitute. Inspectors once checked counterparts like jewel appraisers. The principle was simple. If you're dining in the dairy state, your toast deserves the good stuff.
Wyoming, no drunk skiing.
Wyoming's ski culture is glorious, and the state would like you to enjoy it sober enough to remain upright. Impaired skiing endangers everyone on the slope. Celebrate at the lodge after you've turned in your lift ticket. The mountain is not impressed by your liquid courage, only your ability to stop before the fence.
Charged with harassing Bigfoot because you thought he was your friend Steve in a ghillie suit? Call Sasquatch Legal Defense. We'll draft your apology, negotiate a photo from afar agreement with Skamania County, and send you a complimentary window cling that reads, "Break for cryptids." Add our field guide, "Polite Conduct in the Forest at Night," and you'll never mistake Uncle Joe for a protected hominid again.
That's the end of our 50-state legal safari. Between Montana's chaperoned sheep and Wyoming's sober skiers, we've traveled a quirky continent of rules meant to solve very specific problems. Some noble, some nutty, many now delightfully obsolete in practice, but still alive on paper. If you enjoyed this two-part special, please subscribe to the Strange History Podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend who would absolutely fail Connecticut's pickle test. I'm Amy. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay strange.